Okay. So question 35 says, campaigning for election to provincial or state office frequently requires that a candidate spends much time and energy catering to the interests of national party officials who can help the candidates to win office. The elected officials rather, who campaign for re-election while they are in office, thus often fail to serve the interests of their local constituencies. Which of the following
Okay,
is
so first, let's find our conclusion. What is our conclusion?
so the elected official who campaigned the elected officials who campaign for re-election fail to serve the interests of their local constituencies.
Yes. And why are we saying that we fail to serve the interest of the local constituencies?
Well, essentially, what they provide us in terms of evidence is, one sec, can't spend much time. So I guess it's that they are required to spend a lot of time catering to national party officials who can help candidates win office. And as a result, they are then not meeting those requirements.
Yeah, there's an assumption
Yeah.
there, right? So we're assuming that to run for re-election, you have to spend much time and energy catering to the interest of national party officials. And then we say, so then those who win re-election often fail to serve the interest of their local constituencies. What
Because
are we assuming here?
because if they're failing to serve their their constituencies, they're helping with the national party officials. They're serving to those needs instead in their own.
But those needs must be what?
Those
The local and the national needs must be what? Or they
met
cannot be what? What did you say? I'm sorry.
met. I don't know.
Or they can't. The local needs and the national needs must be what? Or they must not be what? Are they the
What's that?
same?
Let me try to wrap my head around it.
Sorry,
So
are they the same?
no, they're not the
Well,
same.
they must be different, right?
Yeah.
Because what if they were the same?
Well, then I guess it would be that they're meeting the needs.
Yeah, because like if they're the same needs, then they're either meeting them or not. So like we're assuming that you can't do both, right?
Exactly. So they're not meeting the
Right.
needs because they're spending that time with their national interests, pursuing the interests of the national party officials who can help those candidates win the
Yes.
election. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, cool.
So go ahead and start with.
So I guess, yeah, sorry for cutting you off, but yes, let's
Oh
start.
no, you're totally fine.
So A says that catering to the interests of national party officials sometimes conflicts with serving the interests of a provincial or state officials' local constituencies. Can we hold on to A?
Yes, of course.
Find that that's quite attractive, but I want to look at the other choices first. B, only by catering to the interests of national party officials can those who hold provincial or state office win re-election. I don't think that does enough for our conclusion here in trying to say why people are not being, why they're failing, right? So I think B is not correct.
Does it, and this is so strong, right? Only
Yeah.
by catering to the interests of national party officials can those win re-election. So they're saying like if you win re-election, then you must cater to the national party.
Yeah, and we just can't say that with the evidence that we're provided, and that's not what we're looking for. So,
No, we're trying to prove that they failed the interest of their local constituencies.
mhm.
Excellent.
We don't need something as strong, like you said earlier. So let's go forward with C. The interests of local constituencies are well served only by elected officials who do not cater to the interests of national party officials. Well, it's very strong wording with the only and the not, like they do not at all, essentially, and that they only do this by doing this. And I just don't think we have enough information for certain to say that that is true. So I'm going to
But
say
is
that,
that the assumption we're making in our conclusion?
hmm, the interest of local. Actually, could we? I think that we could hold on to it because it
You're
also,
right that it is strong,
but
but
it
it
is very strong.
but let's look, yeah, so let's hold on to that one and go on to D.
Officials elected to provincial or state office are obligated to serve only the interests of constituents who belong to the same party as do the officials.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Oh no. LRBT. Sorry.
It's okay.
LRBT2. Oh, I probably can just go here and. Okay, perfect. Here we go.
Okay, so we eliminated B, right?
Yep.
Said that A and C were going to be kept because they looked like they were speaking to the conclusion. Um, so let's try to look at D. Officials elected to, oh, we already looked at this too, and I kind of said it wasn't so much attractive. It wasn't something that spoke to our conclusion so much, and it just didn't do enough for us. And even serving the only interests of constituents who belong to the same group as officials, we don't know if they belong or what the relationship is or anything like that.
Excellent. Yes.
All elected officials are likely to seek re-election to those offices that are not limited to one term. This is the thing, this is wrong because of multiple things. All elected officials, we don't know that. And we also don't know if they're likely to seek election again or re-election.
Yeah,
And
every single one of them
yeah,
are not limited to one term. That is so not. We have no idea, and we don't care. Like it's like all of them could, some of them could. Irregardless, we know that one's wrong.
it's outside the scope. And upon reflection too, I'm going to look at A again, but I don't think we're probably gonna end up ruling out A because in my opinion, I think C does a nice job at connecting all of those points together, even though it does have strong language. But let me just go back to A and see what we're trying to do here. But maybe we could go back to the stimulus first and kind of see what the conclusion is saying.
Yeah, I'm not saying C was for sure right. I just didn't like your reasoning for crossing it off.
No, I know. And I just kind of wanted to kind of gauge what's going on here. And but I do think that C is a little bit better, but maybe it's because A was a while ago. So elected officials who campaign for re-election while they are in office thus often fail to serve the interests of their local constituencies because they spend much time or too much time and energy catering to the interests of national party officials. So, A, catering to the interests of national party officials sometimes conflicts with serving the interests of a provincial or state official's local constituencies. Actually, let me look at C again. The interests of local constituencies are well served only by elected officials who do not cater to the interests of national party officials. I think it's A because the thing that C does is it kind of negates it and it tells us kind of like, okay, well, these are the two conditions. This is what won't happen. Like we could expect not to happen. And I think that because it does that though, I think it doesn't swap it, if that makes sense. And I think that's why C is wrong.
Excellent. Yes. So it says the interests of local constituencies are well served. So when they are, so what C is telling us is that when they're well served,
Mm-hmm.
that means that you do not cater to the interest of national parties.
Yes, but it should be the opposite though if they negate it, right? If
Yes,
we
where A says catering to the interests of national parties sometimes reflects with serving conflicts with. So sometimes when you do this, then you don't serve your local needs.
my goodness, and that's what I'm missing too is this gap in the reasoning of diagramming these things too.
Yes, because it's where it starts out at. So like not local needs. And this one is saying,
Mm-hmm.
where did I get WLS? I'm gonna say local constituents. So it's the opposite. Yes,
Well served,
that's
yeah,
why A is our answer.
exactly. So that's right. So this is the thing